Let's meet our special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Cherie Lunghi! Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, Cherie went from the RSC to become British TV's first female football coach in The Manageress, of course. She stunned the nation in Strictly last year, and now she's starring in the ever so slightly gory Casualty 1909, which started on BBC One last Sunday. There I was, about to tuck into a chicken vindaloo, when I see what looked like giblets being chucked about on TV. Now, I have to say, I think it's a fantastic idea, Casualty 1909.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it, if people haven't
Well,
seen
it is very gory, and I watched on Sunday night, and I'm not always present in those scenes, so I'm not aware of what's going on, and I was a bit shocked myself, actually.
The idea, though, it is literally Casualty 1909.
It's sort of, I like to think of it as being the documentary that would have been made in 1909 had film existed as it does today. It's ER. It's the ER of 1909.
Of its time. And my God, it was a rough time back then, wasn't it?
It was very rough. It was kind of more medieval. It's closer to medieval medicine than to the medicine
now,
as
you
we
play
know it today.
Matron Eva Lux. How much research did you have to do for it?
Quite a bit, but Matron, she was so dedicated. She spent her lifetime dedicated to nursing, so she wrote tracts and letters and pamphlets about her principles.
So it's a real person?
Oh, she really existed, yeah. Everybody's
real.
Existed, yeah. And there's plenty of documentation about it, and all the hospital practices, the way they performed operations. It's all for real. It's all in the diaries of the London Hospital, which still exists in Whitechapel.
I've been there.
Have you?
Yes, I have, and I still have everything intact.
Oh, wonderful.
Which, unlike most of the people in this show...
You didn't come out without your appendix?
No, I'm entirely... Well, I think I'm entirely intact. If I went to Nude Fest, we may find out more. Now, we have a sneak peek...
All will be revealed.
We have a sneak peek from this Sunday's episode, which sees Cherie breaking some bad news to young Nurse Bennett. Go on, Steve.
It's always lovely to follow hemorrhoids, isn't it? Yeah. Cherie, of course, you had a huge success on Strictly. Now,
Yes.
was there a feeling of being slightly... Because every time you were on, the judges would always mention your age. Was there a feeling of being slightly patronised?
Not really, no, because we are age-obsessed. It kind of comes with the territory, you know. No, and I was quite proud to be out there strutting my stuff and showing that, you know, you can still be quite fit at 57. And, no, it didn't... No, it didn't worry me. It's part of the... It all comes with the territory, as I say.
I think it would be fair to say that you were a considerably better hoofer than John Sargent.
Really?
And yet...
Did it show that much? Was that conspicuous?
And yet... technically, he beat you because he survived for longer, which I still find incredible. Was that upsetting? Frustrating?
No, it wasn't, because, again, you know, it's a show, and there's a sort of pantomime element to this show, and it takes on a sort of drama, and it becomes like a soap opera, really. And people gain the sympathy of the audience, and the judges gave him a tough time. And actually, if that sort of bullying, for want of a better word, took place in a school playground and everybody rallied to the underdog, we'd be saying, well done. Thank you for sticking up for the underdog. So in a way, it's a quality that I'm not going to knock, you know, if people feel sympathetic and compassionate towards someone who appears to be being picked on.
OK, that seems very fair, fair-minded of you. Let's have a question from our audience, please, Eric.
OK, we've got one lined up from Chris. So what's your question?
What's been your most favourite role?
My most favourite role... Well, it's really hard because I've loved all the roles I've played, but one of my favourites has been The Manageress. Gabriella Benson in The Manageress, where I played a football manager. You probably weren't even born.
It was written for you, though, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Was it not?
No,
I
it
thought
wasn't.
it was
no,
written
but
for you.
it kind of fitted like a glove because she had many things in common with me. She was half Italian. Her father was Italian. I think she was a single-parent family and all of that. So it was perfect casting. It fitted. That happens sometimes in a career.
It was kind of groundbreaking as well, wasn't it? To see a woman step up to something that was traditionally always associated with men.
Yeah, it was.
Karen Brady's done it in real life. But...
She did a couple of years afterwards.
Yeah,
the author, Stan Hay, was a little ahead of his time. He was kind of predicting how things would go.
And other things I heard is that real football offers followed. Is that right?
A couple.
A couple, yeah. People are really weird. They didn't realise you were acting. They actually thought you were a football manageress.
But that's how good I am.
Very good.
All your characters are quite feisty. You know, they're quite strong women and feisty.
Yeah.
Do you choose those roles, or is it just the way
they
that
seem to come
they
to
just
me?
come to
I
you?
seem to be perceived to be bossy and in charge, and capable, and you know.
You scared me a wee bit when you were telling
Yeah,
that nurse off. I was about I would listen to you. I would do whatever
But it
you
also
told
comes
me.
with the age. You know, when you're an actress of my age, those are the kind of people that women will have risen to the top of their profession, whatever their profession may be, and will be in authoritarian positions usually. So that's kind of something to do with it as well. I'm not really bossy.
You do it really well.
You grew up in a female-dominated household.
I did, a
Yeah.
matriarchy, as they say.
matriarchy.
Yes, I did. I grew up with my auntie and my mum and my granny. And they were all lovely women, and they all went out to work because they had to. They weren't strident feminists. I don't think the word had been coined in those
is that
days.
your family
Yeah,
there?
that's me. That's me. That's some. I think the car was a boyfriend.
Yeah, I think you
Not
went
my
out with
boyfriend.
I think you went out with Jeff Lynne because the number plate's ELO.
Hello. Yeah.
What a great cover, a great photograph.
Yeah, it's great. It's a real 50s, isn't it, photo?
Yeah. So, because I've heard various things. I read that your mother was nicknamed Gypsy. And...
That stuck because when she was young and there wasn't much work around, she was from the northeast, and you know things were quite depressed in the 30s. And she went out and just was quite resourceful. And thought, well, I'll just dress up as a gypsy. It's the summer season. I'll go down to Whitley Bay. I'll hire one of those little things, and I'll put up a sign, and I'll read fortunes.
Do you mean
I think she was a
wasn't a
frustrated
genuine
actress.
psychic?
No, she wasn't. But she was very.
Of them, really.
Oh, exactly.
Come on,
Gail.
Matthew.
She's probably better than all of them put together.
Exactly.
No, she was, because she was very intuitive. You know, she
Right,
was very. She had a natural intuition about people and very observant. I think she did quite well. And I found her little card, which was Gypsy Lee, because her family name was Lee, spiritual guide and clairvoyant. She had the little card. She went for it. I think she was a frustrated actress. She inhabited the role. Let's put it that way.
I see where it comes from. What about Dad?
Dad was Italian, spoke very bad English because he lived in an Italian area of London where all the Italians lived. And I used to go and visit my dad, and I'd hear Italian spoken all day. It was post-war, and all the Italians had come over and lived in Euston, and he'd take me to markets, and it was like it was Little Italy, really.
Are you bilingual?
Euston. No, unfortunately, because he didn't live with us. I didn't. Unfortunately, I
Was
didn't learn the
that must
language.
have
That would have been nice.
relatively unusual? Would that have been in the 50s?
It was quite unusual to be. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? You think about it. At that time, it was illegal to be gay,
Yeah.
and it was shameful to be born out of wedlock, which is unimaginable now, isn't it? We don't think
Well, you
twice
say
about it.
that we had a lady, didn't we, earlier in the week, still saying that she felt there was still a stigma against single-parent families today. And in
Really?
fact, I can remember back in the early 70s when Mum and Dad would talk about so-and-so who'd got divorced.
Really? Well, maybe it's because I'm a Londoner.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there are probably certain areas or, you know, small village communities where it is
Yeah.
you're kind of ostracised for that reason. But
Yeah, whereas
it
London's
does
so
seem ridiculous.
cosmopolitan and much more broad-minded.
You
Obviously.
grew up in a boarding house?
Yeah, my mother ran a boarding house. We rented a house in Kensington, which my mother rented it during the war, because during the war everybody was evacuating London. They were leaving these big houses in Kensington empty, so you paid nothing to rent them because someone just wanted someone living there in case water mains burst or a bomb dropped on the roof or whatever. So she got a big house in Kensington. No one knew when the war was going to end, so they got something like a 20-year lease on a great big 6-bedroom house in Kensington for like £3 a week.
Oh, how
And,
times
those were the
have
days, weren't
changed,
they?
yeah.
And she rented rooms and had a part-time office job. You know, they juggled it, and I grew up in this kind of extended family of people who lived in bed sitting rooms. Nobody dreamt of buying houses and having mortgages in those days. They were happy to be alive after the war and living in a bed sitting room with a friendly landlady who'd say, "Come down, have a glass of scotch, darling. You know, sit down, tell me how your day went." And a little girl running around, you know, and they felt part of a family. It was such a different world, you see.
Fun.
Great fun.
Yeah.
And that's probably where I got my curiosity about characters and people's life stories and actors. You know,
Your daughter's acting as well, is that right?
Yeah, my daughter wants
Is
to
that
act
something?
as well.
Is that something you would encourage or not?
I wouldn't
Because, you're one
discourage
of the
it.
lucky ones, really, to have had such a long
Yeah,
career.
that's true. It's luck and hard work. But no, I wouldn't discourage it. No one discouraged me. She'll have to see how it works.
Does she do theatre or does she want
No,
to
she's
go
done
into
telly and film.
television?
She's done telly and film so far. It's natural. She's born up in the circus. It's natural that she'd want to carry on in the circus, you know.
Now we know films, TV, plays, also pop videos.
I know. Yeah. I know. This is sneaked out. I'd almost forgotten I'd done this.
This
What
is
pop
you did a video for Level 42.
Yeah, level 42. Yeah. I think it was.
funny
When was
about
it?
that?
What year was it?
85.
85. God.
We have a little clip.
Have we? I don't-
We do have a little
Get it
clip. I
out.
love
Oh,
these
come on,
moments.
let's have a look
at this.
clip.
I was going to say something about the 80s shoulders for
Yeah.
girls until the guy in the tartan suit came on.
I know. The shoulder pads and the perm.
Glorious
Those
times.
were the days.
Great to have you with us
Very
this morning.
lovely to be on the show.
It really is. We've got some great talking points as well for you guys at home. This is what the plan is. First of all, we'll have the papers. Cherie will lead us through those. Our first talking point is going to be why ban smoking in cars with children. I know that's what doctors want, but if the police can't be bothered to stop people using their mobiles behind the wheel, then what chance of stopping mums and dads from smoking in cars? And if you're the kind of parent who puts feeding your addiction ahead of your sprog's well-being, well, would the threat of a fine or a penalty points get you to mend your ways? Of course not. That's what I reckon. So what is the point of banning smoking in cars when kids are in the back? We'll have your calls on that first. Then, after that, is it just me, or are people, older people, getting younger? My mum is nearly 70, but looks and acts, I would say, something 20 years younger, and I know she's not alone. By contrast, my nan looked positively ancient by the time she was in her mid-60s. So what's going on? Could it be medicines and better diets that are keeping us bright and sparky for longer? Are we inspired to act and feel younger because we live in a youth-obsessed society? Or could it be something else? Gamma rays from space, perhaps? We're living longer, that is for sure. It could be. We're living younger, that's for sure. But don't you think we're looking younger for longer as well? Give us a tinkle with your thoughts. And finally, do dads prefer kids who look like them? There's this fantastic research from Holland that suggests they do, while mums seem more interested in a child's personality. And I want to know if this rings true with you. Why do dads favour children that look like them? Could it be we're obsessed with ensuring our genes, not some other geezers, are passed on down the line? So if the child looks like me, it must be mine. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Here's Kirsty with all the numbers. Kirsty.
Thank you, Matthew.
Crazy
If you like
hair, Kirsty.
crazy
Crazy
hair.
hair.
It is a bit crazy, actually. It's not crazier than
Showing
it was.
off.
If you'd like to give us a call, the number, as usual, is 0207 173 5555. Calls will cost a maximum of 10 pence a minute, and that is based on a BT landline call. Mobile phone charges and other networks may vary. You can also email us, writestuff@5.tv. And if you'd like to send us a text, the number is 80088. Text messages will set you back 25 pence plus your standard network charge. Not all messages will be shown on screen, and please do always put TWS before your comment.
Thanks, Kirsty. After the break, Cherie will be taking us through the headlines, including the tale of the refugee who smuggled himself onto a bus and ended up at Sandhurst, and how the Americans are planning to bomb the moon. Well, they've bombed everywhere else. See you on the other side of the ads.
According to the Daily Telegraph, which of these has been banned from their local church hall? Witches, Satanists, or Jeremy Kyle fan club?